So
yeah, I think another place where what you're saying hits me is that I think a lot of people are doing a lot of healing on the mental level and getting through mental blocks, and then a lot of those people are also doing affirmations and trying to influence their healing. And I feel that a piece that's missing there sometimes is really addressing the emotional stuckness that can happen as well. And I think when people say, "Oh, I've changed my thoughts, I'm going to change my life," they may still be stuck with some unconscious emotional baggage. I mean, the hypnotherapists tell us that all of our programming happens at 5 years old. So we have this unconscious programming because we don't have language yet. So we sort of absorb things in a different way on a more emotional level. And I think that sometimes the mental aspect is played up too much, and the emotional piece is not given its main due. And sometimes it's the other way around. It just depends. We're all built a little bit different, and even though we're multidimensional beings, some of us are expert thinkers, and others are expert feelers, and some of us are somewhere in the middle. But often we move towards our strengths, and when we do that, we often overpower. We try to overpower weaknesses when it's not really something to overpower, but to honor and work through.
Your beautiful, beautiful point about the emotional level is so big. And one of the things we do in our spiritual healing work is the counseling part of it. That is getting to know the client and talking with them and asking them, is there anything, if there's anything you would like to change, what's going on in your life, finding out, because many times there is that, remember, we're doing it on all levels. It's not only on the mental level, it's on that emotional level. And it's also on the spiritual level, and we need to find out what's going on with that person. And so our intention is that we also address those areas. It's really important. So yes, I don't mean to say that the mental aspect is the total answer, because the emotion and what's going on is huge, and I totally agree. So thank you for bringing that up. That's really, really important.
It's beautiful to realize that there's so many aspects to who we are, and we can divide it up into body, mind, spirit, and even emotions, and all kinds of levels. But truthfully, we're all those things all at once, all at the same time, through many times. It's just our little construct to understand ourselves, and it helps us. But sometimes we get trapped in thinking, I'm just this limited thing.
Yeah. And so people will ask me, so when you're doing spiritual healing, how do you do it? How does it happen? What goes
good
on?
Question.
And if I may, I'd just like to describe doing a session and what it looks like, because I think people will get a better understanding of what it's all about.
Okay. And a session in what modality?
The National Federation of Spiritual Healers, the Healing Trust.
Huh?
Yeah. And the basic foundation of the step is that we are attuned. In other words, we are attuned, we are connected with that universal source, with the creative source, with the creator of all that is. That we, in fact, are attuned. And we like to be grounded. We like to ground ourselves. And then we go up and we attune with the universal source. And we just envision pulling that energy, that loving, healing energy, down from the highest plane into our being. And it just floods our entire being. And as it does so, our heart opens. Sometimes you'll feel warmth tingling in the hands. And remember, we are the channels for this energy. And as this energy is filling, we are also then connecting with the other person, the person's higher self. We are asking permission to do this healing because the energy from the highest plane, the energy transfer, will only be accepted to the extent that the higher self permits it. So that the higher self of the other person is the guard, so to speak, that no energy that's not for the highest and best good of that person is going to be accepted. It's not going to affect them. So it's really important to understand that when receiving energy healing, only the energy that's for your highest and best good will be accepted, will be permitted by the higher self. And so we have the energy from the highest plane. We're connected with the higher self of the other person and ourselves. So it's like a triangle of attunement. It's source, ourselves, and the other person. And it's this beautiful triangle of energy. And our job as spiritual healers, as John of God points out, is a channel, and it says, the shamans say, as a hollow bone. So we are holding the state of attunement, and we are allowing the energy to flow through us. Now, what are we doing in this healing? Well, we're channels for the energy, but what are we concentrating on? Are we concentrating on perceived imperfection or an illness or what's presumably wrong with a person? Absolutely not. See, our focus is, as it was with Myrtle Fillmore, is that we're focusing, when we're channeling this energy, we're seeing that person healthy, happy, and whole. As the energy is being channeled, we are filled with the understanding and that beautiful knowing that of that person's innate health and wholeness, that spiritual health and wholeness. That's what we're concentrating on while this is happening. Now, we as spiritual healers, we don't diagnose. We don't decide what the person needs. How could we? Because as you said, this is on all levels of body, mind, and spirit. So as we're allowing the energy to flow through, connecting with the other person, and we're visioning the whole and the perfection of that person, the energy is intelligent energy. Let's say in the case of high blood pressure, it knows. We don't know, but it knows that there's a blockage on the emotional level, and that blockage needs to be cleared. And it will clear that blockage, or whatever the person needs, bring in harmony, all the bodies. If it's the blockage on the emotional level, it'll clear that, eliminating that disease and that disharmony in the etheric, and manifesting in the physical body as lowering the blood pressure. So the energy, the spiritual energy, is intelligent energy. It knows what to do. We just need to be there and be present. And this, Joel, is why this is a great time to point out, because the name of this show is Living in the Present Moment, right? Uh-huh. Study group. Here's the thing. When we're in this state of attunement that I am describing, we are in the present moment. We are not in the future, not in the past. We are totally connected with the divine energy in the present. It's, as Deepak Chopra says, that place of pure potentiality where all is possible, all is available in the moment. It is there. We are totally in the moment. And it's an amazing experience. So I know, like in meditation, we love to get in that people that meditate, we love to connect and get in that attunement with Source, because we feel that that presence. And this is the same thing when we're doing the spiritual healing. We're just so connected, and we're so totally in the present moment. And so that's why spiritual healing, if you do it, you are actually energized at the end. We say when we're teaching the work, if you feel depleted, I'm talking about an energy healer, if you've been working with a client and you feel depleted afterwards, then you have used, in some way, you've used your own energy and you've not done the process correctly. Because if you channel Source through yourself for the benefit of another person, you are going to be energized in the end.